So brave and being willing to share her own story and her struggle with being disabled. Next up, we have another really equally strong girl who's here to share her own personal battle with mental health. Please welcome Anjanette Zumel.
Hi guys. I'd like to start off by thanking everyone on the Girl Up team for giving me this opportunity to speak today. So, hi, I'm Anjanette Zumel, and we'll be talking about mental health awareness. Next slide. So, you matter. Yes, you matter. Next slide. Your mental health, your existence, your emotions, your happiness. These phrases are embroidered onto hoodies created by Demetrius Harmon. Demetrius Harmon is an Instagram influencer who considers himself a Renaissance man because he is a writer, actor, model, poet, and much more. What you don't know about him is that he suffers from anxiety and depression. Because of that, he created these hoodies to advocate for mental health and help those who suffer with it as well. They're beautiful hoodies with a beautiful meaning behind them. So, what is depression? What is anxiety? Depression is a mental condition characterized by feelings of severe despondency and dejection, typically with feelings of inadequacy and guilt, often accompanied by a lack of energy and a disturbance of appetite and sleep. Anxiety is a nervous disorder characterized by a state of excessive uneasiness and apprehension, typically with compulsive behavior or panic attacks. Growing up, I never had a good grasp of what it truly meant to be depressed or have anxiety. My childhood wasn't perfect. Of course, it had its happy moments that would fulfill a kid's dream, such as going to Disneyland, but it also had its sad moments. My mom used to be what you can call an Asian tiger mom. She pushed me to do well in school and aim for all A's. She was strict with a lot of things. If I went out, if I bit my nails, how neat my handwriting was, basically trying to make me perfect. My dad wasn't like my mom at all. He always tried to make me laugh and keep me happy. My parents' marriage went through a lot of rough patches that divorce almost became an option. Seeing them go through that definitely affected my younger brother and I. Those sad and scary fights could still be replayed in my head like scenes of a movie. It struck fear in me and made me question a lot of things about myself. What are they fighting for? Why can't they stay together and be happy? Am I loved? I felt like my parents were only close to me because I'm just someone who is living under their roof and not their daughter, who they personally know and have a close bond with. Did they even know something so basic as my favorite color? I've always wished for a close bond like the other kids. In school, I started being more observant in 6th grade and wanted to try and fit in. I started buying clothes at places where I considered them big girl stores. In middle school, I hung out with a group of friends that at first I felt close with, but slowly slipped away from and felt like an outcast. At our grad dance, I felt very excluded because I was physically left out of our circle. So I left and went with another group of friends. When I got home that night, I sat at the dinner table and began to cry. My mom asked me, "What's wrong?" I told her what happened at the dance, but I found it really hard to explain my feelings because I felt as if she didn't get it or that it isn't something major. Outside of school, I danced Filipino folk at Kaisahan of San Jose Dance Company and Polynesian at Lokahi Polynesian Dance Group. This busy life of dance, balancing dance, sleep, a social life, everything, it kept me distracted. When I managed to find time for myself, I would end up having nothing to do but to think. I would think about what's going on in my life. With situations that I've been through, I just thought it was just me being a normal hormonal teen against life situations and parents. But wasn't it too much? My parents thought the same thing, that I was just a teen too. Because if I was ever moody, they would just think it's because of my period, which shows the lack of communication we had because they would just assume instead of actually asking if I was fine. I Googled up different types of depression and considered that I could be depressed. With anxiety, I remember telling my mom to go to the doctors to test if I had asthma, because there would be days where I had to hold my chest and be conscious of my breathing. I kept track of all the times I cried on my phone in a journal. So, when did I come to terms with my anxiety and depression? One night, I broke down really bad and talked to my mom about it. It was so hard to explain something she couldn't feel the way I did. Opening up to her felt scary that it took me so long to get the right words out and get over the fear of how she would react. I told her everything. It hurt my mom to see me the way I was. She was sobbing and held me tight. She told me, "I'm so sorry, Ning. I didn't know. You can't imagine how I feel as a mother to see you." She brought up the option of going to see a psychiatrist and a therapist. But I didn't want to go just yet because I felt that opening up to a stranger was much more harder and scarier. I also didn't want to be on meds because of a fear of side effects. Eventually, I also told my dad, and it was the first time in a while that I've seen him cry. So my bad days would be defined as being bedridden and only being motivated to go to the things that I wanted to do, such as dance practice. An extremely bad day I was having was staying in bed the whole day and just taking naps. I was in bed because my chest felt so heavy and my heart so numb that I didn't know how to feel. I just didn't have the motivation to even go to dance practice, which made me question if I really enjoyed doing it and if it was worth it to do it anymore, which is sad because dancing is my passion. In my bad days, I would contemplate running away from home, cutting myself, and committing suicide, depending on the severity of how I was feeling. On one of my bad days, I was just tired of feeling the way I was feeling. I accepted my mom's offer to go see the psychiatrist. When I entered the psychiatrist's office, she made me feel comfortable. She asked me questions about what's going on and made it easy for me to talk to her without any judgment or fear. We talked about my personal life, my school life, and my family life. She asked me why I thought I was depressed or had anxiety. She asked me all these other questions that help her to reason in factors to answer why I was feeling the way I was feeling. So Dr. Tucker diagnosed me with mild to moderate depression and anxiety. She gave me advice to try my best to get at least 8 hours of sleep and to let my feelings out to the people that I trusted while I was on a waiting period for therapy. Leaving her office, I felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders, and I found this new sense of motivation to be a better me. I developed a closer relationship with my parents, although it can still be rocky at times. I wanted to do things that would help for my future. Life is a journey. I took this step in my journey in not allowing my depression and anxiety to overcome my life. It is a part of me, but definitely not who I am. I am proud to say that I'm content with my life, with everything that's happened, all the good and bad things, because they happened in a certain order for a certain reason. This is my story, and it's definitely not the same as yours or anyone else's. Everyone will have their own journey, whether it be longer or shorter, or filled with different factors and opportunities. It will take time and patience, but you can achieve where you want to be and get there with just a little help from yourself, from your friends, from your family, and others who will support you. You are not alone. I know it's really hard when you're feeling so low and heavy-hearted, but it all starts with yourself when you're ready. Even as I'm giving you this advice, I'm still trying to figure all this out myself. I hope that you keep this message in your heart that life is a beautiful struggle with all its ups and downs. I know at certain moments you will feel weak, but I also know that you are strong. It's okay to be down, and that it's only a bad day, not a bad life. You can get through this. I believe in you. I am proud of you. You deserve to be happy. And if no one told you today, you are beautiful, and I love you. You matter.